Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I have got a game between Hazed and TypeReaL. So TypeReaL is the red Protoss player in the top right and Hazed is the blue Zerg in the lower left. And essentially this game I have cast before. It is an awesome, super, mega long game which I cast last week, and then my recording software decided to freeze as I stopped it and corrupted the file. So I kind of got a little bit annoyed and was like, no, I'm not going to cast this game again. Not going to do that. That would be silly. But actually, it's super epic. So I am going to do it again. What I am going to do, because it is so ridiculously long, is actually do quite a lot of this in double time speed when not much is going on, because otherwise the video is going to be crazy long and nobody wants to see long periods of nothing happening. So far we've got TypeReaL. He's going out for a low ground pylon, which basically says I'm going to be fast expanding, whether it's a forge fast expand, whether it's a nexus first, doesn't matter at this point. Of course the map's daybreak, so as you can see from this probe, a long rush distance across, so not too much to worry about there. And also Zerg players, they don't tend to do super early pulls. They tend, especially against Protoss, to really like going for a 14-15 pull into getting the second and third hatchery up as soon as possible. So about 4 minutes to 5 minutes, get that third hatch up, drone to 70, then put on the pressure. So there we go, the pull going down. It was at 14, so that's all pretty standard. Now, while we wait for not much to happen, I am going to put this on a bit faster speed, so just bear with me, because the epicness in this game comes later on. It's completely sick and crazy. We've got TypeReaL. He is going for that nexus first, which is pretty much to be expected. What he's seen, he knows he's safe, he knows that pull's not coming down anytime soon, and he can wall this off pretty nicely. Probably going to wall off alongside the nexus actually. There's a small gap there. No, actually going to go all the way across, but that's fine. We do have Hazed. He's getting down that natural hatchery as well. The Overlord had seen everything, but this wall off's really happy. There's not even any Zerglings on the field. We do actually have one Zergling coming down here for Hazed. That's essentially just checking, make sure there's no cannons there, any pylons or any shenanigans like that. We'll find the probe, which of course is obviously the threat, and we'll pick that off. Now we see Hazed taking his third base at 4 minutes 20, which is exactly when you want to get it. It's pretty much optimum. So, see Chrono Boost going off on the Nexus. That's a good tell. This Overlord, great spot to know. Well, if he's Chrono Boosting that out, I mean, well, he's not Chrono Boosting anything else, which means there's no rush coming along. I'm very safe as a Zerg player. Meanwhile, the Cybercore, well, it's only just coming out. I mean, this is going to finish up at around the kind of 5-minute 45 mark. So essentially that means Warpgate Tech's not going to be out for a long time. Could see a little bit of pressure coming from just one Zealot, but I mean, importantly, if we look at the work count, it's still pretty even. Hayes only just getting ahead now because he's got this third hatchery out, and that's really why Zerg players go for it, because before they get that third hatch, they're not able to keep up with the work production with the Protoss player. But obviously, things like this one Zealot I really like from the Protoss perspective, because it's just irritating. It forces a couple of Zerglings. It's also just annoying because it takes up some of the Zerg players' APM, and also means you can securely take this third base as a Protoss. You can scout and get all the information you need. So just slowing this down a bit so we can get some analysis going on what's happening in the Zerg side. Well, he's got the Rotron and Evo Chamber. Always get them together. The Rotron makes you safe from gateway pushes, and the Evo Chamber safe means you can make spores for both detection, for DTs, and also if there's any kind of airplay coming in. But we won't see any of that. I mean, still Chrono Boost going off here. We'll see also that Hayes can see wheels going for these additional 2 gas, so you can assume he's up to 4 gases. I don't know if he does know this base is down yet, but that would be a really big tell that no pressure's coming. There is this Robo Bay out. Robo Facility rather, got the Observer coming, he's got, well, pretty much nothing else. He's just run off 1 gate and 1 Robo all this time. He has finally got 2 more gateways up, so in terms of threat, hardly anything there, but a lot of Zerglings coming out for Hayes now. He's also got these Roaches. That Zealot I thought was going to survive by some miracle there, but obviously because the Watchtower didn't change over, he knew there was a unit. But obviously with this Observer out, he knows exactly what's coming out, so no problems there. This wall off, very nice. This cannon's so well protected, it's boxed in from 3 angles, so unless a lot of roaches come down, that's going to be able to do a lot of damage to any kind of Zealots, any kind of Zerglings rather with Zealots. And now in come all of the Sentries and the Immortal, and this push is going to get closed down because frankly the force fields, there's so many force fields banked up there. These Sentries have a lot of energy each, so Yeah, no problem. That will force Hazed back. And as a Zerg player, being forced back in this sort of position is a little awkward because, well, you've put a lot into that push. You built a lot of units. And if we take a look, Hazed wasn't quite up to the kind of 70 plus drones he wants to be at on 3 bases. He is taking his 4th though. And most importantly, that's because this 3rd base is down. As a Zerg player, always be a base up on your opponent if you can, unless you've done a lot of damage or about to do a lot of damage, because otherwise you just get behind. But I mean, the key thing to know really is we're up to like 10 minutes and we've seen no pressure out of Real at all. He's playing very defensive, just getting up those bases. These rocks are being taken out because essentially Zerg players don't want to engage in chokes. Engaging here, you'd only need 1-2 force fields to block it all off and slice his army in half. If you take the rocks out, it takes more force fields, it's just more awkward. But we've got 3 Immortals out, a lot of Stalkers, and a couple of Zealots and Sentries as well. So in all honesty, he's really quite safe. The Twilight Council must have been cancelled actually. I'm sure I saw that come out earlier, but that's on its way. Spire about to finish up for Hazed. Good map actually for Mutas because you've got a lot of dead space around here and also into the 3rd, so can harass quite nicely. But with 2 cannons at the 3rd and the opportunity to throw down some cannons at the natural, no problem at all. This observer is going to go and have a look. Will it scout it? Well, the Spire's in the main base. The double Evo is there as well with the 1-1 melee upgrades coming out. The macro hatch is there. The 4th base is up, and a Spine coming down here. Would like to see a Spore as well, just in case there was any hidden units, invisible units coming, because obviously you don't want to lose a base just because you haven't got any detection there. 10 Muters about to come out, and here comes the +1 Zerg flyer attack. So still both these players playing very defensively, so let's speed this up a little bit more again. We've pretty much got a good feeling of what's going on. Blink is on its way out. We've got a little bit of an engagement here, but no, that's going to pull out. There's really just, this is great play basically by Hazed. He's darting around, he's attacking this 3rd base. Meanwhile, he's got Muters coming into the main. And while there are some Stalkers being more warped in, he does get 1 Stalker kill. Unfortunately loses that Muta, which isn't actually that good. But we've got cannons now down in the main base for Real, so that's going to shut down Mutas quite a lot. The Infestation Pit is on its way. Spore Crawler coming out just at the main base, at the 4th base rather, so that is a brilliant choice. And now, again, this is just great defense by Real. Some good force fields there, prevents the Lings getting us around, but seeing his army in this position, perfect. If the Zerg army comes to the 3rd, just a quick walk down. If it comes up into the natural, quick walk up. Either way, you're defended, either way you're safe. You're keeping your Protoss ball exactly where you want it all together and really able to engage directly, because this force not actually too good for Hazed in terms of a direct engagement, because, well, let's face it, against a lot of Sentries and Stalkers and Immortals, this force doesn't do too well. Muters on their own, very bad at head-up engagements. They don't fare well. Now we are getting a really quick hive out of Hazed now, as well as pathogen glands on the way. Meanwhile, a Templar Archives is coming out, as well as 3 more gateways. The +2 Protoss ground weapons are on their way out. 4 spines coming out. Now this, great choice by Hazed. He's clearly pushing for Broodlord Infestor, which is a great late game composition. But it's not just Broodlord Infestor, it's the most immobile army in the game. Get these spines up. If we look at the drone count, 99 drones, that's too many. He's got far too many drones, more than he needs. So just build spines. It's a great way to keep your minerals low, which you can see here are stacking up. So just build spines everywhere. Build this big spine wall at this base, and this is perfect, basically. Just build all the spines. It delays the Protoss push if it does come. It's going to speed things up again because yet again not much is happening. There's some Mutas up here, but this main base very nicely defended. A lot of Stalkers coming out. In terms of upgrades, well, we've got down here for the Protoss 2-1. We've got big counterattack coming in here with 2-1 Zerglings as well. So great move here by Real. Rallying, well, pulling all of the probes and putting them on hold position around the cannon. That stops the Zerglings from engaging the cannon, making sure the cannon can do maximum damage effectively. But it does get taken out at long last. And, well, we're going to have this army completely cleaned up. But quite a few probes were taken out there. This 4th base is looking like it could be a bit of trouble, but these Infestors really badly rallied, and that is not a fun time for Real at all. No, it's a really fun time for Real. It's not a fun time for Hazed to get the players correct. Obviously, High Templars are out now. Storm is done. So before long, we've got some great fungal growth going off there, but I mean, most of those Infestors were picked off. If we look at the Lost tab, this is really not good for Hazed. He's lost, like, I think it's about 4 or 5 times as much resources as Real has, but he's got all these spines, and just look at how effective they are. Even with this massive army, this many spines, actually not too bad. It's it's doing quite a bit of damage. The Zealots are tanking really well. The Immortals are what are causing the problem. This 4th base will go down, but essentially it's just being awkward for Real. He's going to try and push forward, but more spines here, and up that choke, there's not a position that Real wants to go and try and push through. So he's going to pull back. He has cleaned out the 5th base of Hazed, it was actually. So that's all pretty nice, but still, this is essentially just delaying tactics while some Broodlords come out. And where are these Broodlords? Morphing up in the main base. And now once those Broods come out, that's going to be fun times, because, well, we've got a lot of Broods. We've also got big Zergling counter-attack coming in here, which is doing a beautiful, beautiful job. These are now 2/2 Lings, plus 3 Protoss ground weapons are on their way out. This 3rd base for Hazed is coming down, and this is not looking fun at all now. Hazed looking like he could be in a really, really nasty position at the end of the day. I mean, what can he do? He's got these Broodlords coming. This force has to basically destroy this without taking much losses. Great spine wall again. Notice the consistency. Still up at a good number of drones. He's replacing the drones he's using to build spines, but just as many spines as he possibly can. Good blink micro coming out here by Real. The Broodlord Infestor army, it is on its way, but it's so slow. And this is really the massive problem. We need some great fungal growth from Hazed here, and he's going to lose this 4th base, and this is a big, big loss, because that was one of his critical mining bases. Hazed is now down to 1 mining base, and I love Real's decision making here. Well, I've done a lot of damage, I'm going to pull out. Some good feedback to pick off quite a few infestors. We've got these queens here as well, getting some transfuses off. Again, queens, get them up early, because that way they build up the energy, they're good for defense, and ultimately you can get some units. And here we go, some good fungal growth on these stalkers here, and the Broodlords now suddenly decimating this army. Absolutely destroying it with the Zergling support as well. Some good blinks, but still those Immortals. Force fields are great, unless of course Broodlords shoot you from on top of them, which is exactly what's occurring here. And suddenly Real, he's not looking to be in the most fun spot, lost all of his Immortals, and if we take a look at the loss tab, actually leveled up quite significantly here. So this is actually a good position, but I mean, Real, he has done huge amounts of damage right now. There's still this force of Zealots and Stalkers coming in, but will get cleaned up by the Spines and Zerglings. So this is just showing that Spines, that's where it's at. More bases coming up. Would like to see this base rebuilt. There is the money for it. Real, however, he's got his 4th base back up, but he is really gotten the 2 mining bases now. Still a bit of minerals left in the main. So essentially, Real's issue now is he's got this big Broodlord force to deal with. That is sort of the money late game position. We've got a great little drop coming down here from this Warp Prism. 2 Archons and these Zealots are going to be able to do huge, huge damage. These Zerglings are getting absolutely shredded at the moment, and essentially if the Broodlords are pulled back to do it, it makes these bases up top very, very vulnerable, because the amount of time it will take these Broodlords to get from one side of the map to the other is absolutely huge. This Warp Prism just coming to check in, and well, hang on, not much going on here, so can we force a cancel? Real, he may not even go for it, because these roaches are in position now, and any warp in would just get completely crushed. So, meanwhile, Real, he's taking up these center rocks. Again, great choice, shortening the rush distance, and really that's beneficial for him, because it means there's less position the Broodlords can monopolize on based on the fact they're a flying unit. But still, these Stalkers, they're going to poke around. Some more Infestors just getting picked off for free. That was not fun at all for Hazed. There's a lot of gas he lost there. And essentially we're just going to see Real really systematically try and pick off these bases. But the longer this goes on, I mean, Hazed, he's keeping his money low, he's got all the tech he needs, he's got a lot of Zerglings in here, Zealots in here, but the Roaches are completely crushing him. I don't know why I keep mixing up Zealots and Zerglings at the moment, but still, we've now kind of got into a bit of a stalemate position, because essentially Hazed, he's got that Broodlord army up. How many Infestors has he got at the moment? No Infestors, so definitely needs to rebuild some of those. But in the same degree, Real, well, he needs that mothership before he can effectively engage this army. He also needs some more Archons in the mix. He basically just needs to macro up. He's getting that +2 ground armor, +3 ground armor will be very, very good as well, especially against the Broodlings. And essentially, Real, he just needs to focus on expansion management, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's going to come and deny this 5th base. There's no way the Broodlord army can come and defend this, so straight away cancelled there. This is on 2x speed, by the way, just while we've got this little picking off. As you can see, both these players are really turtling up quite heavily, and that's mainly the case for Hazed, because as I pointed out previously, having a Broodlord army is so slow. You can't engage quickly, you can't defend expansion spread out, so really his only option is we'll sit in the middle and hope nothing bad happens. But behind this, Real, he's like, well, you've got a really slow army, so all I need to do is just expand everywhere. And that's a great choice there. We're going to see some Colossi in the mix as well. Now, they're going to be really helpful in trying to deal with their spine wall, and essentially, this is a nice force. A really nice force for real. But Hazed, he's still just got a bit too much stuff. He's also getting out that neural parasite. Great choice, because ultimately he knows the only way that real is going to be able to go is through this mothership. And if you get neural parasite, you can get neural parasite off on the mothership, and you can be happy. So we'll be interested to see how he chooses to use that. Going to need a good vortex. Does have the energy for one, so that's going to be pretty essential. Some roaches just getting cleaned up for free, and I have to say, Hazed seems to be a bit careless with just leaving his units around and basically just sacking them for no reason. These corruptors are going to be vitally important, especially now the mothership is out. Other than that, though, what we've got this War Prism speed on its way out. So that's going to be effective. That Stargate not really being used. Got a little group of DTs. A great choice, because at the moment no spores are out here, and this is exactly what I was saying. Spines are fine, but get some spores, because otherwise your day can be ruined by DTs. And this could actually just snipe down the hatchery. Will be interesting to see whether Real does choose to go for that. Bit of bad AI here. The AI in pathing is not happy with this, and that is not fun at all. But this base, again, just going to get taken down near instantly, and because there's no spores there at all, all of this is just going to get completely decimated. There is a overseer coming over, and that's going to be really critical, but still we've got war prisms absolutely everywhere. Are we going to see a big warp in of DTs? There is some detection up here though. Meanwhile, what is in this other War Prism? We've got High Templar. So High Templar drops very effective and gets some big storms off. Meanwhile, in the centre of the map, though, Real, he's just pushing forward. He's trying to do some damage. He's trying to be irritating, but the infested numbers are getting higher. But there is a great vortex coming off straight there. Where is this War Prism going? That is what I'm waiting to see. It's just going to come straight into this third base. But, I mean, still, we've got kind of a bit of dead space here. Some great feedbacks going off. Some good storms. Some more feedbacks. So many infestors and queens getting picked off there. This War Prism not doing anything as of yet. But still, Hazed is putting up a good defense. This is such a hard line for Real to push into, because let's face it, there's a lot of spines, a lot of broods. That's just not fun. Some big storms go off here and pick off a lot of drones. Let's look at the drones killed. Well, worker killed is actually 19 to 23, so that's surprisingly low. The drone worker count, though, 75 to 43, so much in favour of Real. We actually look at the income, so heavily in favour of Real, it's actually a bit unfair. And really even trying to take a 6th base down here. There is a base secured up here for Hazed, that's going to be really essential later on. A DT and Zealot drop, very effective, because obviously the Zealots can soak up some damage, the DTs do a lot of damage. Didn't pick off anything too essential as far as I can see though, or actually the War Prison taken down there by Corruptors. Just think quickly, Great Spire is still up, so is the second Spire. Meanwhile, this what should be a 6th base for Hazed, that's going to go down very quickly, and essentially Real is playing this perfectly. If your opponent has gone for an immobile force, what you do is you spread out your expansions and you pick off their fringe expansions while counter-attacking to other places. And I mean, these DTs, great choice. It's forcing some Zerglings back and even some Roaches as well. Would like to see kind of a double drop going off. That would be the only other nice thing, or maybe a push up to this base. If you push into multiple bases at really the same time, you have absolutely maximum effect against an immobile army. However, on the other hand, if your opponent has got a very mobile army, you want to push as one big group, because something like this against a mobile army is going to shred it. I mean, a mobile army for Zerg is what? Zergling Mutalisk. This will crush a Zergling Mutalisk force, but still, these Broodlords, they're so good in a head-on engagement. Basically, most units in StarCraft 2 army compositions favour, but I mean, here we go, that mothership is going to get focused down. If that goes down, that'd be a big win for Hazed. So now that mothership is out, that is brilliant. Those Colossi, they could get taken down very quickly if Real isn't careful, but he's backing out there very fast, and Hazed actually taking this quietly, but we've got 4 carriers on the way. 4 carriers at a time. Where even are all these Stargates? Here we go. Just look at them all, and this could be a real tide-turning fight. I mean, we've even got the Graviton Catapult for quicker interceptor launch from those characters, but I mean, it all depends. If all these Corruptors stay up, then essentially Hazed is going to find that easy to deal with. But if he does morph them into Broodlords as he is now, he's going to have a lot harder time, but this is a great choice by Hazed. He's picked off most of the army, the mothership isn't there, his Infestor numbers are high, his Broodlord numbers are high, push forward, and this centre base here for real, that's going to go down very quickly. But in come the carriers. The carriers could be a very different affair to deal with. What is the corruptor numbers like? Down to 9 corruptors. That is not fun times at all, but still, they are decimating these colossi. They're going down exceptionally fast. One more falls, and the last colossi goes down. The base goes down as well. But meanwhile, here come in the carriers. Carriers absolutely shredding a couple of broodlords, but look at all those corruptions go down, and well, the corruptors do very, very well against capital carriers, because obviously they are massive units, and corruptors do bonus damage to massive. So this is really quite cool play. They've got all of these photon cannons here, though. There is still that base for real. He's also got the other lower base. In terms of mining bases, this is pretty cool. We've got a counter-attack coming up at the top from real, from this war prism. A lot of zealots. Zealots actually do well against spines. And I mean, meanwhile, roaches coming and attacking this 6th base. The broodlord infest your army, trying to engage up here to the 4th base of real. And essentially, it does look like for the moment this broodlord force happy to take out this base. Probably loop around, take this out, and then come back to defend, because well, a lot of Hazed bases have been taken out. It's like, where is actually remaining? Well, the zealots have just taken out that base. We do have this base just mining, but essentially Hazed is down to no mining bases. But then again, so is real. Real has got just this one, and that does not look like it's going to last too long. Both players are getting very, very low on resources, so this is not going to really be too fun for either of them. They both need to expand. This base, real, really needs to get up and defend. His carrier numbers are higher though. He's got up that mothership. Protoss air weapons and air armor level 2. When was the last time you saw double air upgrades from Protoss? Not too common at all. Meanwhile, what the upgrades like for Hazed? Well, he's got 3-1 air upgrades. He's got +3 ground attack. If I can find anything which attack, I think he's got +3 melee attack for ground units, but can't find any Zerglings on the field, so we'll have to wait and see. One Stalker is going to be able to take that out, unless the spines move, of course, but still, this army for real suddenly looking super, super scary, because, well, you've got a lot of carriers, you've got the mothership in there, a lot of Stalkers as well, so essentially, if Hazed goes for less Broodlords, but more, well, carriers, then, or more Corruptors, then he can deal with the carriers, but struggles with the Stalkers all of a sudden, and really well, he's not got too many other options. He's going to struggle whatever Hazed decides to go for. And well, we've got Overseers going down absolutely everywhere. We've got quite a lot happening, and to save this video being super long, I'm actually going to pause it and start again in a second video.